You can push yourself until like you push your limit, but the important thing is don't push yourself that far. That limit should never come close. Dreams, continue living in London and working in top kitchens. Ambitions is to hopefully get my own restaurant. You definitely learn to grow up fast when you live on your own.
What do you enjoy most about your job right now?
Playing with fire. I definitely wish I enjoyed myself a bit more. I think I did like 100 odd hours at work in a week.
Do you think you're depressed?
Yeah.
What's up guys, my name's Lewis Phelps and I've started a podcast. I have listened to hundreds of podcasts, but I've never seen one's focus on people before they have achieved greatness. So here it is. Let's talk past, present and future with some young, passionate, inspiring people who are only just getting started.
What is your name and what do you do?
My name's Liam and I work in a restaurant. I'm a chef.
What is your dreams and ambitions right now?
Dreams to continue living in London and working in top kitchens, and then ambitions is to hopefully get my own restaurant.
So you said you're living in London right now.
Yeah.
How's that? How's the life like?
It's scary, but it's exciting at the same time.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of strange people around. It's quite expensive living over there, so it was a bit of a struggle when I first moved. The rent's really expensive, so that's about £1,500 a month just on a little studio. So I got a bed in the same as a living room and in a kitchen for £1,500 a month.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a lot.
Yeah, it was a struggle. But
And where are you living?
do you know where St John's Wood? So right opposite the St John's Wood cricket ground. It's about a minute walk from there. So
Nice.
it's quite central.
And where are you working right now?
At a restaurant called Ekstedt. So it's a Scandinavian restaurant. Ekstedt is the name of the head exec chef and owner. So he's got a restaurant over in Stockholm. I think he's number 1 or number 2 in Sweden's best chefs.
No way.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's just open fire cooking, really.
How did you get that role?
So when I first came to London, I worked at the Dorchester, but I just didn't really enjoy it. So I was just really trying to find a job. So I was just scrolling across the Michelin guide and trying to look for a place to work. And Ekstedt turned up and it was the most unique restaurant I can find in London. So I applied and then next week I got a job there. I was in the kitchen.
So when did cooking and chefing come in and food come into place?
So, going back, let's say when we're at school, I didn't really have any interest in doing cooking. Like no interest at all. I was probably at the bottom of my class when we were doing GCSE, and then I was going to be a bricklayer with my dad, or a plumber, or plasterer, whatever I can think of. So it changed every week. But I always mentioned chef. It's probably about 6 weeks before we were all meant to go to sixth form or go to college. I had nothing planned. Someone I knew said, "Go do catering at college." He said you wanted to be a chef. It's always popped up, and she said, "Go to college." Do catering, it's going to be a life skill and it's not going to be wasted, and if you don't want to do it after a year, just do something else. 3 weeks later, job in the kitchen, that was it.
Did you do food tech in school?
Yeah, but didn't really enjoy it.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
No.
So what do you think was the change then? What made you go from not enjoying food tech to then 3 weeks later and then obviously where you are now?
Yeah, I think it's being in the kitchen. There's something about it. It's really weird. When I got my first job, I struggled to cut things, use a knife. I was cutting myself, burning myself all the time. I remember I got a photo on my phone 3 years back and went all these burns up my arms, just absolutely destroyed. But I don't know what it is about being in the kitchen, but there's just something in being in that environment. There's always progression, you can always learn, you're just constantly working hard. I never really cooked at home either.
Didn't?
No.
Do you cook at home a lot now? Or is that still a...
I think you'll find if you speak to a chef, he's probably got the worst diet ever, because you when you're around food so much, you smell it and it's just when you get home, you're just I don't want to eat this. It's horrible.
What's your mindset at the moment in terms of cooking, food, life?
So I don't know if anyone knows what Michelin stars is. No, so Michelin star is like a guides that are rated for chefs. So like you got one Michelin star, which is places like the Savoy. Can't really think of any on the Savoy, like Watley Manor, like really big hotels. And then you've got 2 Michelin stars. So they're like people like Tom Kerridge, who's on telly. And then you've got 3 Michelin stars like Gordon Ramsay, like really famous chefs. So like that's how you, like I really want to just work in Michelin star restaurants. So that is the ambition.
And what are you at now?
So we're pushing for our star.
Okay.
So they've got a restaurant. So we've got an Ekstedt in London, and then there's an Ekstedt in Stockholm in Sweden, and they've got a Michelin star. They're like one of the most well-known places in Stockholm.
I see. And have you worked in? What's the highest Michelin star you've worked at? If you've worked at any.
1.
You've worked at a 1.
No, I haven't worked at a 1, but like that's what the standards I've sort of worked at.
Okay.
Or pushing to work at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw you did like a competition back in the day.
So I've only ever done 2 competitions. So one of them was in London when I was 18, and there was like a skills test. So it's like HRC is the biggest like chef competitions in the UK. So it's called Hotel Olympia, and I went there and with 4 other students from a college, and we pretty much did a skills test. So like we turned a load of veg, like and salted some chickens, and then got judged on it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty good experience. It was my first time actually going to London.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how old were you then?
18.
So that was after the lockdown.
It was just before. It was actually March.
Okay.
In 2020, so it's probably about a week or 2 later. Went into lockdown.
And you got bronze, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how was that experience, like, doing like a competition within? Did that spur on anything?
I definitely wanted to go back and do another competition on my own. So I wanted to do dishes, but I already enrolled into a different competition. So I did like a risotto competition. Like now I've won the regional heats. So now I've gone on to the finals at Tottenham Football Stadium in April.
No way.
Yeah. And then the winner of that gets to go to Italy and do like a bit of work experience in a 2-star. So it's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
So how did you get into that? Was it somebody that you knew or just sign up?
And so there's the chef magazine I read. So it's a bit sad, but like the first page or the second page was like this competition. It's like under 25s competition. I just entered it. Like last minute, it was I wasn't gonna do it. Like someone said, "Oh, don't do it," and then some people said, "I'll do it," and then I think it was like 10 minutes before midnight. I submitted my dish, and then managed to get the spot.
So what did you have to do?
Just a risotto. So,
And then take a photo of it?
Yeah, take a photo of it, and I did it the day before.
No way.
And then managed to get past that, and then went to the regionals, won the regionals, now going to the finals.
What do you have to do when you're in the competition? Is it a risotto?
Yeah, it's a risotto.
So it's all just a risotto competition?
But the people who's judging it is like Michelin star Italian chefs. So they like judge every little detail. Like the rice has got to be cooked perfectly, got to have enough butter in it, it's got to be the right temperature, it's got had to rest. Like there's so many different things that you got to worry about.
And then I also saw on your Instagram MasterChef dinner with Nikita.
Yeah.
How was that?
That was pretty fun. Like I was really nervous meeting her because she's like, oh, she won MasterChef. She's worked in a few Michelin star restaurants, but she was really nice. She's like really open to talk to. It's quite fun.
And what was it?
So basically, we had 4 dishes on our menu, and then she had 4 dishes on hers. It worked, but it was really weird because like we're really traditional, old school Swedish cooking. So we've got like old techniques that was first found in the 12th century, like burning oysters with beef fat and cooking over fire. And then she got like a very modern day Asian influence. So you had like a tortellini with a spicy sauce with on the same menu as like flambéed oysters. It was really weird, but it was really fun.
So did you learn a lot of stuff from her? What did you learn?
So I never like did any Asian cooking, and the one thing I really liked was she made a venison sauce. So like reduced a load of, reduced the stock, thickened it with more bones, like this weird process. You got like 3 different stocks, you reduce them down into one, and then she infused it with some tea. It was really weird, like a really spicy tea. It was really nice though.
Nice.
I've never heard of that before.
Do you reckon you'll use that?
Definitely, it was really nice.
Do you watch cooking shows? Do you watch MasterChef?
Used to watch MasterChef. Like, I've watched 1 or 2 seasons. I've known a lot of chefs or worked with a lot of chefs that been a MasterChef, and then you like click onto their episode and like watch them and see what they've done. But I'm more of a Great British Menu. Like,
Okay.
I like watching Great British Menu.
And what chefs have you worked with, if you can name?
So when I was at the Queen's Head, it was no like really major chefs, but when I was at the Fish, there was a chef called Martin Burge. So he earned 2 Michelin stars at a place called Watley Manor. And then I also worked with Dave John Hall, who was my head chef at the Fish. He's a really nice guy. And then I was at Dorchester, I worked with Tom Booton. He's quite a famous chef in London. And now the one in where I'm working at now is Nicholas Ekstedt. And my head chef's name is Tess. It's really nice as well.
So what is your role in the kitchen right now?
So Chef de Partie. So you've got apprentice, commis, demi, chef de partie, and then you've got your sous chefs and head chefs. So I take control of the sections, or my section, and like help with all the orderings, like running the kitchen, training people, making sure the service is going smoothly. And then sometimes I get to serve the guests as well. So like if there's an extra chef in the kitchen, I'll go run the food and talk to all the guests, explain the dishes in full detail, which I didn't think I like, because I'm like sometimes quite a shy person, but it was really fun.
What do you enjoy most about your job right now?
Playing with fire. Yeah, literally, it's just all wood. Like wood is our main source of cooking, and like we have the odd blender if you're making a mayo, or like a hand blender if we're blending foams, but like everything's cooked on the fire. It's really fun. Then we've got this massive wood oven. Like I don't know how much it costs, but it's pretty cool. Just cook off flatbreads.
Is that normal for a kitchen?
No.
It's not.
No, I don't. This is the first kitchen I've ever worked in that's solely run on wood and fire.
Oh, really? What is it usually run on? Like gas?
Yeah, gas,
electric?
electricity. Like this is a really unique restaurant. I think the one in Stock, like it's a Swedish cooking, so I think some of the methods go back to the 12th century, like flambéry. So you pretty much get a cone on the fire, and when it reaches 550 degrees, so it's like glowing red, you drop a load of beef fat and then pour it on top of oyster, and that's the way we cook our oysters. Like you don't really see that. It's becoming popular, but it was like never heard of before. The wood, like cooking purely over wood, is becoming popular, but compared to other kitchens, it's not really used a lot.
What's the near future looking like for you?
Right now, so I've gone through like all the commie stages and like just like worrying about where I want to be, and I've done like for the past 3 years, like I've just driven myself crazy about getting into all these places. Now I just want to enjoy cooking, so I want to like maybe after Ekstedt go to somewhere else in London, do a bit more fine dining, but I just want to learn and cook and then reap the rewards later.
Being a chef, how has that affected your mental health?
There's been ups and downs. So like when you feel good, like at this place at Ekstedt, mental health's like really good. But like in the past few places, because I've done so many hours and stuff, I couldn't switch off. So I'll be at home, like I've literally not slept for like 3 days, because you're just constantly thinking, like you can't switch off. You're scared to go into work the next morning.
Why are you scared?
It's like some kitchens have been in like really hard, and you like had a really bad day, and you're like worried that the next day is going to be really bad. Yeah, but it has its ups and downs. But yeah.
Where's the worst state that you've been in, do you think?
When I think I did like 100 odd hours at work in a week, and I was just absolutely shattered. And I got home, and then I just called the chef up and was like, I've had enough. I'm taking a bit of time off, and then had a month off.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you think you really needed that month off?
Yeah, I was dead.
And who came up with that idea to have the month off?
Me.
Was it?
Yeah, I called him up. I thought of it on the Saturday night, called him up the next day, and was like, I'm having a month, I need to take time off. And then stayed with a few friends.
How did he react?
You just can't really say anything, can you?
So he was fine with it?
He just like, it was a bit like weird with it at the start, and then he's just asking if I was okay throughout the whole time off.
And how was that month off for you?
It was really good, yeah.
Is it much needed?
Yeah.
time
It was really weird. It was hard taking that month off as well because you go 100 miles an hour to a full stop. It's horrible. But
And
I
what did
needed
you
it.
do?
Chilled out, stayed with my friends, went to coffee shops, went to the gym, just like really chilled out. Didn't do a lot.
Did you think about cooking?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you
Feel
still
like it.
read your?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have, but I did. Yeah.
No, I think it's when you're going through a rough spot like that. I think it's also still important to keep, because your goal is to own your own restaurant. So even when you are in the lowest state of mind, you still don't need to go into work. But if you keep up with thinking about chefing, even cooking at home, reading books, I think.
You still
Do you think that helps you?
it brings back your passion?
Yeah.
When you're down, you need a break and then you miss it or you don't. But I missed it. But I really needed that time off.
Do you think if you didn't miss it, you wouldn't be chefing now?
No, I couldn't do anything else. I'd just do it, but I probably despise it. Yeah. I really couldn't. I've got like a chefing tattoo on my arm and I just couldn't. Maybe a little
Look,
weird.
where is it?
Huh? I've got a few. Got that one there.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it's not a great one. And then I got some of these.
Mate, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
They're good.
I got one on my leg.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Real cool. Any advice for anyone out there? I know it's very like whatever works for you. But
So-
what helps you?
A lot of people say, oh yeah, you can push yourself until like you push your limit. But the important thing is don't push yourself that far. That limit should never come close. You should be able to see it from a mile away that you're going down a dark road. You need to do something.
Did you see it and you carried on
Yeah. Right until the end. Yeah.
until you just broke down?
Yeah. Even people were warning me.
Really?
Like, you're not eating enough, you're working so much. Like, people, like, one of my best friends, she was like, oh yeah, you can't keep doing this. You'll like, you'll go down. And then that was like a year before I went down. She's seen it and she knew. She's like, you just need to slow down. And then when I got with my girlfriend, she's like, you can't be working all these hours.
Was it like just the passion? You just thought it was good? You thought it was?
Yeah, it was a bit of a rush of adrenaline, cause like I can go into that kitchen and I can just be like, oh yeah, I'm doing more hours than everyone. And like I learnt more. I did like 5 sections, which in like a month or two, like learnt them all, moved on. And then people were on there for like 5-6 months at one section, but because I was in the kitchen so much, it just took, it's just easier.
It's too much. And do you think, where did that mental health just come from? Working too many hours? What was it?
Yeah, working too many hours. Like, you notice when you get because I was working so many hours, I was in that kitchen so much. Like, I used to organise my fridge like really like specifically. Like I had everything colour coded or like something stupid like that. It was like all clean. Like I was there for like an extra 20 minutes just cleaning everything. And like come back off my days off and then someone's like trashed it and you're just like going absolutely mental. I like threw a tray on the floor and then went upstairs for an hour, like back to my room, just got into work, it wasn't right, went up to the room, like I was just...
So is it these sort of symptoms of this mental health going down a dead
it's just
end?
like you just get so annoyed about every little thing and then you just start getting really agitated and stuff like that.
Do you think you were depressed?
Yeah, probably. I think it got to the point where you just... I don't know, like something wasn't making you happy but I thought it was the right thing to do. So I should have moved on a lot sooner than I did. So I stayed in for like 8 months after.
Yeah.
I should have just left. If it's not making you happy, leave. That's it.
You got a passion, do it, but everyone can see if they're getting more upset, more angry.
Yeah, you just leave. Like, there's no point in staying. You're not going to do anyone any good. The people you work with are not going to enjoy you. You're not going to enjoy it. So, like, what are you doing it for?
And what was that feeling, calling up your boss and just saying, I'm taking a month off?
It was really good.
Was it like a
lot of anxiety?
Yeah.
You just called up your boss, like you could lose your job. And then a month later, when I wasn't ready to go back in the kitchen, I'd like worked a week in the kitchen and I was like, I need more time off. I still wasn't ready. I called him off and was like, I just want to leave. I want to quit. And he's like, no, just take your time. Have another month off. Went back in the kitchen, did another 6 months and then went to London.
So it's definitely, obviously having the right people around you as well.
Yeah.
Because obviously if you didn't have him and he said, no, you're coming back or you're getting fired.
I would have been lost. I would have been back at my parents.
Yeah.
It could have been that easy.
That is luckily I haven't gone through anything too hard, but what I've also found is when I've gone through certain mental switches where I've gone a bit sadder, a bit more angry, I journal, so I write stuff down.
Yeah.
Did you write anything down during that period, or
No, I kept everything to myself.
did you?
Yeah. That's what I'm like. I don't really talk a lot. I just keep it all to myself.
And do you think
It doesn't help.
it doesn't.
I know what you're going to say. No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
No, but it's just easier.
And are you learning from that? Like, have you learned from that experience?
Yes and no. Like, I've learnt from it because I was at another job for not a long time, so I knew I wasn't happy. So I learned from the previous job that I'm just gonna leave, and I found a job that I really love. I don't think I've ever been so happy at a job.
That's good. And you definitely have learned.
Yeah.
Like, that's a prime example of that learning experience. You didn't enjoy it, you left, and now you're with somebody happier. And then even this job, you might go down another one, you might work a bit too much. Doesn't seem like it, but you might do. But then, like you said, you leave, you move on, or you talk to people.
Yeah.
So if there's anyone out there that wants to become a chef, how would you reckon it would be the best place to start?
Depending on the person. So I wish I realised it sooner that I wanted to be a chef, and the first thing I would have done was gone into a Michelin star kitchen and just like got absolutely bollocked every day, but I would have just done it. I could have been a better chef if I would have just done that.
Just go straight into it.
Just like
straight into deep end.
yeah, like you're gonna be shit.
What sort of ideas do you have for your future restaurant then?
Well, I honestly couldn't tell you that now. I think when I have a restaurant, it will already be like, I don't want to be a head chef before I'm 30. I want to just learn. So that's another 9 years of learning. So I could say I like Swedish food now. I could move on to like go back to British food or go back to Italian or like enjoy French cooking. Like, you don't really know until.
So why do you want to wait? Why do you want to wait until 30 to be a head chef? Why do you think that's important?
I feel like if you become a manager too soon, you're not actually a manager because you haven't been through the experiences. And if I'm 30, and then open a restaurant, you've got more chance of being successful because you've waited.
That's a good insight. What is your favourite dish to make? What is your favourite dish to eat?
So my favourite dish to eat at home, that's the thing, like working in a fine dining restaurant, everyone will probably be expecting like a fine dining answer, but my favourite thing to eat is spaghetti bolognese.
Is it?
Yeah, it's just really simple, but it's nice. If I was in a fine dining restaurant, it'd probably be like venison loin. It's like really aggressively cooked over a fire, and then we keep it just like 40 centimetres above it to cook the rest of the way. And it's served with like cabbage parcel, some fermented stuff, which is like just loads of different textures and flavours. That's my favourite dish at work, but at home it's spaghetti bolognese or a pizza.
And what do you like to do with your free time?
Read. Yeah, just read cookbooks.
So it's just always...
Yeah, always cooking.
Always in your mind.
Can't switch it off.
Do you think that's an important mindset to have when being a chef?
No, it's dangerous.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if you fall out of love with cooking, you fall like your whole life's just down the drain, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like the same if you were at the gym and then you like got injured. Your just whole life's.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Then it can be both, I guess, because if cooking stays there,
yeah.
then it's perfect.
Yeah, but
to have that mindset.
But if
it does go,
yeah,
then...
if you're having like a bad couple of weeks at work, you're just depressed.
So in 10 years' time, then, what do you see?
I see myself being a head chef. It doesn't necessarily have to be my own restaurant, but a head chef at a restaurant.
Do you see yourself in Sweden? Or do you see yourself...
I would love to go work over Sweden for a year or so. Or even if I can't get my visa, maybe do like a stage, which is sort of like work experience. So go do that for 3 months. But I just really want to work abroad.
Why is that?
Well, it's like I said earlier, you don't want to waste the opportunities that you get. And I think like being able to go work abroad or being able to have the right skill set to go work abroad, I feel like you shouldn't waste that. Imagine growing up and like in 10 years time, like being a head chef, you go, oh yeah, like I had this really good experience working over in America, I had this really good experience working in Sweden, just seeing a different way of cooking, different way of life. It's not just for cooking, it's going living differently as well.
Experiencing everything.
Just it builds your character up.
And that, just from my point of view as well, because I'm still living at home, how have you felt from a personal mindset, physical? How have you felt from 18 moving out to now living in London? How's that affected you?
To be fair, as soon as like when I moved out, I was still very, not say immature, but I don't know what a different word would say, but we're just kind of immature, and you definitely learn to grow up fast when you live on your own. And then moving to London, you like definitely learn to grow up even more. You're just completely self-sufficient. So you pay your own bills, you earn your own money, you cook all your food. You got to worry about every single little detail, and it's not taught to you. You just got to do it. But luckily, I was with my girlfriend, so we sort of did it together, and learnt together.
I do this with all of the guests that come on this podcast.
Yep.
I've asked you to bring a quote that is connected with you in any way, shape or form.
Yeah.
And please tell us your quote now.
So I didn't actually have a quote beforehand, but it took me a while to actually think of one that relates to me. So knowledge will be your passport to wherever you want to go in the world. And obviously that relates a lot to me, because the more I learn here, the more opportunities I get abroad. And say in 5 years' time I want to go live somewhere permanently, I can have that opportunity because I'm a chef, because I've gained all this knowledge, worked in all these kitchens. It's just become a lot easier.
Even just by talking to you today, that quote kind of does describe you.
Yeah.
Because you've said, I don't want to be a head chef until I'm 30.
Yeah. Knowledge is power. It
exactly.
is. Yeah.
Knowledge is power. And you've literally just, everything that you've said today has kind of just always led back to that. You want to gain knowledge before you get into power, sort of.
Gain your knowledge before you get into power. Because if you get into power before you got your knowledge, you're just gonna
crumble.
Yeah, you will crumble.
And not a good crumble.
No,
not a good restaurant crumble.
You won't be serving that. You'll be alright.
What advice do you have for anyone out there? Could be a chef.
Yeah.
Could be chef related. Could be life related. Any advice that you've gone through in life that you'd like to share?
I definitely wish I enjoyed myself a bit more, because when, we'll say, growing up, I know we were in lockdown, I know that complicated a lot of things, but I feel like we did miss quite a lot of our teenage years. We should have been in the nightclubs and all that, but I would say definitely enjoy yourself. Like, work is not everything, because I've lost 3 years of my life in the kitchen, and then some people outside of work may have a bit more of a life, more friends, but you just got to weigh them.
Thank you for coming today. Actually, one last thing, if you pass me that book.
Yeah.
So what I'm also doing is reading out a quote that somebody else has given me.
Yeah.
That I think might reflect with you, or just reading out a quote and seeing how it connects with you in a way.
Yeah.
Will Gilderson,
Yeah.
rugby player, I mentioned his name before the
Yeah.
podcast. His quote was, "Your younger self had a dream, don't let that little guy down."
Yeah, that's a good one.
How does that connect with you?
That, to be fair, that's better than my one. Yeah. So no, that is because I was actually when I was scrolling through my gallery, I actually seen I'd written down a load of stuff that I wanted to do by the time I was 30, and like seeing that quote, it just instantly made me thought of it. Like, it was like, by the time you're 23, 24, like become a Chef de Partie in a Michelin kitchen. By the time you're 25, 26, become a junior C. By the time you're 30, become a head chef. And that was my younger self. And then sort of went off path like with that, and like fell out of love with it and stuff. And it just made me feel relaxed. And I was trying to like, this is the guy who, when I was in the pub, this is the reason why I was doing all those hours. This is the guy, me at the fish hotel. I was like begging everyone to teach me and stuff like that. So I didn't want to. It actually made me upset for him, not me. So that it relates.
Anyway, man,
Right.
thank you for coming on.
No worries.
We'll make sure that we get you back as well when you've got that Michelin star.
Yeah.
And also when you've maybe won that little competition.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll try and get you back on probably like 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
And see how you're doing.
Sounds good.
Nice one, man. Cheers. So the Fry Meister.
Yeah.
I also wanted to talk about that.
Yeah?
How you Fry?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Fry is your last name.
Yeah, so I work in a restaurant where this is like in the heart of London, so there's not actually many English people.
Yeah.
So it's about I probably know about three English people who actually work in this hotel. And I always get, so your last name's a Fry, and they're so intrigued by it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's Liam Fry. And they're like, oh, perfect, is that why you become a chef? And I was like, yeah. Cheers.
Well, to be honest, Liam Fry, that sets up a brilliant chef,
Yeah.
like a restaurant name.
Yeah.
Fry something, I
haven't
don't know.
I haven't told many people this, but before I became Liam Fry, so when I was at primary school, there's like 5 people from our school that actually knew this, but my name used to be Wild Goose. Yeah.
Wild Goose?
Yeah, Wild Goose. That was my mum's last name. And then as soon as I...
That would have been a good restaurant and
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, so as soon as I
Wild
went
Goose.
into year 6, I changed it to Liam Fry.
You changed it?
Yeah.
No way.
So that's my dad's last name.
Are they married now?
No.
Oh,
So you got Liam Fry.
You just
or
changed
Liam
it?
Wild Goose. Yeah. I hated Liam Wild Goose.
No way.